Dear friends, today I will explain Section 51 of the Patent Act 1970 or the Indian Patent Act. The title is Power of Controller to give directions to co-owners. So, we will go through the key points of the subsections. Subsection 1 says, if any of the co-owners applies to the controller in the prescribed manner, the controller gives directions in accordance with the application as to the sale or lease of the patent or any interest therein, the grant of licenses under the patent or the exercise of any right under Section 50 in relation thereto as he thinks fit. Fine. So, subsection 1 I have written in such a explanatory manner that it needs no further explanation. Fine. But still, I will again explain you in a very still a simpler way. Okay, fine? Okay. Suppose there is a granted patent and unlike the normal patents, this patent is owned by more than one person. Fine. That means it has co-owners or patentees or grantees number is more than one. So, if out of these two grantees, one of the grantee or one of the co-owner applies to the controller in a prescribed manner, okay, what? About the sale or lease of the patent, any interest therein or grant of licenses under the patent, the exercise of any right under Section 50, etc., etc. Then the controller considers the application in accordance with the matter inside the application and he gives the directions in relation to them as he thinks fit. Okay. Another thing is that this subsection 1 is related to Rule 76. Please go and take a look at it. And what is Rule 76? It is about the manner of applying for directions under Section 51 subsection 1. Fine. Now, I will go to subsection 2. If any person registered as grantee of a patent fails to execute any instrument or to do anything required for carrying out any directions given under Section 51 within 14 days after being requested in writing by any of the other persons or co-owners, the controller may, upon application made to him in the prescribed manner by any such person or co-owner, give directions empowering any person to execute that instrument or to do that thing in the name and on behalf of the person in default. Fine. So, it seems a lengthy subsection, right? But we will analyze it by portion. Fine. So, first of all, I would say that please look at the underlined words. What are the underlined words? The first one is if any person. That means it is also a case of co-owners. So, between the co-owners, if the one person or we can say is the first person, he fails to execute any instrument or to do anything for carrying out the directions given by the controller under Section 51 now within 14 days after being requested by any of the other person, that means any of the other co-owners besides him. He may be the second person, he may be the third person, etc., etc. Any one person. Fine. So, then what does a controller do? He, upon application made to him, what he does? He gives directions empowering any person. Any person means here the person who has requested in writing. That means he is the second person or third person and not the first person, right? Who is the defaulter? He is not the any person here. The person who has requested is the any person underlined here. Okay. To execute that instrument, to do that thing in the name and on behalf of the person in default. default, or who is in default? The defaulter, or who failed to execute an instrument, etc. Fine. So in a very simple way, I can tell you one thing, that there is a granted patent and it has more than one patentee. That means number of co-owners, this may be 2 or more. Okay, one person fails to execute any instrument or any direction given by the controller, then the controller, after getting an application from the other co-owner about the same, he gives directions to that person, that means the requested person who has requested. He empowers him to execute the instrument in the name and on behalf of the person in default. Okay, one thing I would like to say you, that this subsection is related to Rule 77, and Rule 77 is about manner of application under Section 51 subsection 2. Fine. Now I will go to subsection 3. Before giving any directions in pursuance of an application under Section 51, the controller gives an opportunity to be heard. To whom? Bit A says, in case of an application under Section 51 subsection 1 to the other person or persons registered as grantee of the patent, who are the other person here? The co-owner who applies to the controller. Look at the Section 51 subsection 1, then you will get it more clear here. Fine. Then bit B says, in the case of an application under Section 51 subsection 2 to the person in default. Person in default means the grantee who fails to execute any instrument. In this way, subsection 3 is also completed. Now I will go to subsection 4. No directions shall be given under Section 51 to affect the mutual obligations or rights of trustees or of the legal representatives of a dead person, or of their rights or obligations as such, or which is inconsistent with the terms of any agreement between persons registered as grantee of the patent. So this is subsection 4. In a simple way, I can say that mutual obligations or right of trustees or legal representatives of a dead person, or some inconsistency with the terms of any kind of agreements between the co-owners, these things are not affected by Section 51, or they are not bound to the directions given under Section 51. Here I have underlined the word inconsistent. That means something which is likely to change or not matching the terms with the terms of any agreement. If it has some inconsistency between the co-owners, it is also not bound by the directions of Section 51. Fine. So this way all the subsections of Section 51 is completed. So friends, please go through my video and simultaneously go through the bare act, and please comment in the comment box and share the video among your friends, and please subscribe my channel with pressing the bell icon. Thank you.